Step into the enchanting world of the holidays, where the warmth and wonder of this festive time comes to life. Hallmark Channel Radio returns to Sirius XM. Grab your coziest blanket, fill your cup with steaming hot cocoa, and join us by the fire with timeless Christmas music and carols. We'll be here all season long, sharing the joy and magic of this special time of year. Hallmark Channel Radio, now for a limited time. Channel 107 and on the SiriusXM app, included in all trials and popular plans.
Get the SiriusXM app and listen on your phone when you get out of the car. Anywhere you take your phone, you can take Howard Stern, NFL Radio, and commercial-free music channels from nearly every genre. Channels vary by subscription plan. You never have to miss your favorite SiriusXM programs or commercial-free music. Find the SiriusXM app in the App Store or call 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/app to find out more.
I get back to the gritty and tell the city the home of the village.
We're blowing up online. Hip Hop Nation connects you to the biggest hits in the game.
That's the difference when you're my baby. That's how it is when you're
Just turn up and vibe. Hip Hop Nation, commercial-free hip-hop hits. Channel 44 and the SiriusXM app. To hear these channels, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
When you're a SiriusXM subscriber, you've got access to commercial-free music, channels from almost every genre, and channels created in conjunction with the biggest names in music. Eminem's Shade 45, Pearl Jam Radio, Bruce Springsteen's E Street Radio, and more. Visit www.SiriusXM.com/go to sign up online quickly or call 844-711-8800 now. Activate your radio and start listening now.
Here. And the NHL on SiriusXM sounds like this.
The captain completes the comeback.
What a save! Oh, Ilya Sorokin got a piece of it with his glove. Connor McDavid, his 60th goal.
Hear every NHL game all season long on SiriusXM and the hometown announcers on the SiriusXM app, and talk about the day-to-day drama of the hockey season on NHL Network Radio Channel 91. To hear NHL Network Radio, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
There you go now.
I think everything.
Oh, that's there you go now.
I think everything.
Oh, that's
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs, and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you, as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 018148868.
Get the SiriusXM app and listen on your phone when you get out of the car. Anywhere you take your phone, you can take Howard Stern, NFL Radio, and commercial-free music channels from nearly every genre. Channels vary by subscription plan. You never have to miss your favorite SiriusXM programs or commercial-free music. Find the SiriusXM app in the App Store or call 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/app to find out more.
SiriusXM Video lets you watch your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SiriusXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artists you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month. Plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
Reparations.
Follow the entire league without changing the channel.
Kansas City in position to add to the lead. Back there we go now, Chiefs Radio.
Touchdown! Kansas City.
Plus, you'll hear fantasy football updates and post-game interviews.
To hear NFL radio, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
Rondo Deportes, Bonjour, Vidi Vidi Vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me, the people who love the universe. And that would be you. I want to say what a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor and stand up for the kickoff? Got some big football coming to you on a beautiful November the 17th, 2023. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers. Home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them sit you where the good Lord spit you. It's roller driving the fleet of Cadillac cars all over the universe. I want to tell you on Friday night lights, got some NFL football, college football, also high school, Big C's top 10. I'm going to expand it to Big C's top 15 high school football because tonight a lot of playoffs are starting all over this beautiful country. I want to say you can follow Big C Sports Podcast on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, TuneIn Podcast, Amazon Podcast, and I'm going to tell you iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Good Pods Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on GeoSaban out of London, England, as well as India and Africa, Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Note, Podcast Wise, Podbait, Podcast Prodigy, Podcast Republic, and one that used to scare me, but now it doesn't. It's allfeeds.ai. Get that some praise because the robots are trying to take over. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast streaming OTT on 4 TV podcast platforms all over the universe. Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. And I really do appreciate that. I want to tell you my show is a little bit different as it normally is. I always, #1, I produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platforms provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives. I know I could use more laughter. And then I'm telling you, the commercials are done. The stats provided. I even do the storytelling. I do the play-by-play. I'm telling you, up to the line of scrimmage, 5 wideouts, 4-man front, and the Packers roll back the pass. It is Jordan Love throwing deep to the end zone. It is intercepted. Well, I'm not predicting anything bad. The Green Bay's not having a good season so far. The show is uploaded to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City. And I'm in Demner Hills, California. And then #10, I never missed a show since creating Big C Sports with the crew back in the day at Salem Media. Give that some praise. I love giving it praise. But I also love giving praise as our Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced. Helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know, anybody going through issues, pick up the phone. Call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give it some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. I know we all need somebody to lean on. I want to tell you, the veterans need help. If they need help, call that number. It's important to call that number. I love giving out that veterans hotline. And I want to do a humanitarian pause right now because I know we have war going on with the Palestinians and in Israel, but the world is missing something that's so powerful. According to the United Nations, around 400,000 children are at risk of starvation to death in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Thousands of families in the Kasai region, they fled to the bush where they stayed for months, short of food and water, and many have already passed away. Going back to 2021, nearly 64% of Congolese, just under 60 million people, they lived on less than $2.15 a day. Malnutrition is the underlying cause of almost half the deaths of children under the age of 5. And we hardly hear about that on television. Why is that? We hear about other things going on all over the world, Ukraine, Israel, Palestine. Why have they turned their back on the starvation of the Congo? I want to give some attention to the starvation of the Congo and give somebody to help. Come on, United Nations. Don't just sit back and watch that happen. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I have to get that in because I got that information sent to me by the inimitable Reverend Tony Pierce, the CEO of the National Black Wall Street Project. Also, I interviewed Mr. Wembe, who's also running for the presidential candidacy for the Democratic Republic of Congo. Just interviewed him last month. And I hope that the United Nations doesn't turn its back on it. And now I want to get back to, I just have to say that because why is that not getting attention? Nearly 60 million people starving to death. That has to get some attention. It just has to get some attention. I want to say thank you to Xfinity Comcast TV and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then he said, let there be light. I really do appreciate that with Xfinity Comcast TV. I'm also on Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. I love doing things with Big C Sports. Today's show a little bit different. I got a lot to cover. I got a long way to go in a short time to get there. But I love paying homage on this beautiful Friday as we rise and shine. I want to pay beautiful homage to my family legacy on my beautiful mother's side. My beautiful great-grandmother called her Mamo. My beautiful great-grandfather called him Pop. Former military man and Negro League baseball player. My beautiful grandmother called her Mud Deer. Beautiful, loving, kind woman. She was a seer. Could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, present, and future. And don't want to shortchange my grandmother, my great-grandmother, Mamo. Always making sure lots of love in the family and food in the belly. And then my beautiful grandfather, Hezekiah, another wonderful person, a seer. Could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. And then I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and coaching all boys Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Give mama some praise. Come on, started a Head Start program, a food program, and also coaching all boys Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Really do appreciate my mama. I love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Always saying rise and shine. And then my beautiful grandfather, Albert Curry, a former pastor, had 3 churches, 2 in Oakland, 1 in Central California. He also owned 2 gas stations. But he owned 40 acres of land like the Emancipation Proclamation. Really proud of what he was able to do back in the days just out of Jim Crow. And then my beautiful grandmother, Alberta Curry, worked side by side with my granddaddy with the 3 churches and the 2 gas stations. I was 8 years old walking through a hallway in Oakland. I felt someone touch me in my forehead, and I heard her say, "Excuse me, young man, are you going to get some more cookies?" I said, "What are you doing up, Grandma? It's 10 o'clock at night. You normally go to bed at 8:30. She said, "Are you going to get some more cookies, young man?" I said, "Cookies are baby crap to what I'm doing, Grandma. I'm going to get my reparations." And then she touched me in my forehead and said, "There's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak. Really do appreciate hearing that my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot's chief mechanic, always making sure that airplanes can fly high so we can all stay safe at night, always saying develop your mind to its highest extent. Love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul." Then my beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak, always saying go forward. A voracious reader. Read everything. Love my brother Todd dearly. And then my beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors in 3.5 years from a major university. Set up the very first interview for Big C Sports back at Salem Media. We went on from there to become the first time in the history of the United States that NFL Monday Night Football started broadcasting live on the Wall Street Business Network. It had never happened before. And then she would help me set up in college coaches to come to the West Coast and do work with Big C Sports. I really do appreciate it. You can be anything you want to be, Daisy. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Always trust God. No weapon formed against you will prosper. I love giving you some praise. And then my beautiful handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College student, a senior, just very smart, erudite, a good man. I love you. You could be anything you want to be, Malcolm. Malcolm helped me save trees. I used to always look up the stats on newspapers for Big C Sports. One day Malcolm said, Dad, why don't you just Google it? And a light bulb went off. I've been Googling ever since. And now I just feel that so much you could be anything you want to be. Malcolm one day said, Dad, you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV, and say, play Big C Sports, and you'll see your show come up. That's before it was even on the air. Now it's streaming on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. You got to give that some praise. He's spoken into existence. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You can be anything you want to be. Then Big C, with all that wealth and knowledge over the years, I'm a great granddaddy coming out of that barn, always saying you got to believe, you got to believe, you got to believe. And let's get ready to rumble. I love saying welcome to the show. Ask me nominated Big C Sports Podcast. I have no scripts. I have no cerebral teleprompter. I have no producer in my ear. I just love doing this show. I love doing what I do. And I'm so grateful to God that God has allowed me to do the show. Not everybody can say that they have their own platform that goes all over the world. That's why I want to give God some praise. There's nothing wrong with giving praise. Oftentimes I've heard when praises go up, then blessings come down, and that's why I just keep doing it. It doesn't matter how hard it's been at times. I've never missed a show, and not many people can say that after 8 years of doing anything. I want to get into some Friday night football in Dimdale Hills, California. Oh, I want to give my PSA, please don't drink and drive. It's one of the easiest things not to do. We have the Thanksgiving holiday coming up. A lot of people are getting on the road. Planes, trains, and automobiles is one of the most heavily traveled times of the year. But if you can do it without alcohol, you're more likely to get home safely and get to your destination safely. So for the high school football games, please don't go out drinking and driving. And I want to give the designated driver some praise. You call Uber, call Lyft, sleep it off, walk it off. Just don't drink and drive. The life you save may be your own. I love saying that. I want to get into what I do with Big C's Friday Night Lights. I love my push for reparations. And, of course, I'm always pro reparations. Before I even get into some football, I don't want to be like everybody else and just say, man, enough about that stuff. I want to keep doing it until we get it done. I want to give praise to the California Reparations Task Force because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And we've had so many meetings for reparations. I want to just make sure they keep them lifted up in spirit. I want to thank Camila Moore, the chair. She's brilliant. She focuses on reparative justice. Dr. Amos C. Brown, vice chair. He's brilliant. Really do appreciate him. I want to thank the #1 senator in the United States of America, California Senator Stephen Bradford. He's brilliant. Going to be meeting with him shortly. And he's also responsible for name, image, and likeness. And also the Ebony Alert that helps find young black children when they go missing. He's brilliant. Love giving him praise. Doctor, I want to say, Councilmember Monica Montgomery Stephanie, she's brilliant. I love giving her praise. Assembly member Reginald Jones Sawyer, he's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to thank Dr. Shell Grills. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to thank Attorney Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to thank Dr. Devon Scott Lewis, professor at California, Berkeley. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. And I want to thank Attorney Donald Kamaki, part of the California Reparations Task Force. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. As a Japanese American, his family already received reparations from the internment camp. I think I'm one of the fastest speaking sports podcasters in the universe. And that's fine with me. I want to thank Double O, the National Cap Committee of the National Black Wall Street Project, who sent me Executive Order 13985. Google it. It's further advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. That's the White House. I want to give her some praise. She's all over it. Really do appreciate her. I want to thank also Senator Marco Rubio and Senator Rick Scott of Florida. They reintroduced the Restore Holocaust Survivors' Rights Bill because they want to make sure that those reparations are paid out to descendants of Holocaust. I want to thank Georgetown University, not for the basketball team. I want to thank them because they already pledged over $1 billion and growing to this 272 descendants of chattel slavery for helping build Georgetown. Give that some praise. There's so much that I want to thank so many people for. I want to thank Double O again, National Path Committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. And she sent me this article from the United Nations that says strong leadership and political will are crucial to ensure reparatory justice for people of African descent. Give her some praise. We all need that praise. And now, as I say, thank you to T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network. Get that praise. And proud sponsor of the Big C Sports I want to say thank you to PNC Private Bank, proud sponsors of Big C Sports. I need $6 billion. Give that some praise. All fair and level work. I'm going to hire over 1,000 agents in the next 12 months. Real estate and insurance to put people back to work. 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. 4-month bank statements, $5,000 minimum monthly revenue, 6 months in business. We specialize in unsecured funding, working capital, up to $5 million, no collateral, early payoff discounts, fund in 1 day. Give that some praise. How do you get that, Big C? You call 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. Are you ready for the football? Of course you are. It's starting to rain in Woodland Hills. Please people drive careful. You know, I love giving praise where praise is due. And we started out, a lot of people start out at high school. And that's where you learn what you're going to be in life. And a lot of times we have these great high school football programs all over the country. And they do a great job at mentoring young minds and getting young kids ready to get to that next level. And with Big C Sports, I love doing that. I also want to say hi to Mark Tennis, the owner of Cal High Sports. They track all the top schools in California and also nationwide. They're very well connected. But I want to let's get ready to rumble. Friday night style. I got a top 15 high school football teams according to Big C Sports. I got number 1, Duncanville of Texas. I got number 15, Duncanville of Texas. I got number 14, Washington High School, Massillon, Ohio. Number 13, I have Norland of Miami, Florida. Number 12, I have Walton of Marietta, Georgia. Number 11, I have Colquitt County of those good old boys in Georgia. I believe I have that right. I got number 10, St. Thomas Aquinas of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They are 10-1. I have number 9 at St. Joseph Prep of Pennsylvania. They're 9-1. Number 8, Mill Creek of Houston. They are 11-0. I got number 7, DeSoto, Texas. They are 10-0. Number 6, North Shore of Houston, Texas, 11-0. I have number 5, IMG Academy of Bradenton, Florida. They are 8-0. I have number 4, Mater Dei of Santa Ana. They are 10-1. I have number 3, St. John Bosco of Bellflower. They are 10-1. I have number 2, Chaminade Madonna, Hollywood, Florida. They are 11-0. And number 1, I have Bishop Gorman of Las Vegas, Nevada. They are 11-0. I want to give them all some praise. It's Big C's Friday Night Lights. And that's my story. And I'm sticking with it. You can't please everybody, but please don't drink if you're going to be out there attending high school football games. I want to get into what happened last night with NFL football Thursday night. Multiple players injured during the Ravens' 34-20 win over the division rival Cincinnati Bengals. The biggest name to leave the game was Bengals quarterback Joe Touchdown Burrow, who appeared to injure his wrist. In the loss, he was unable to return. The Ravens also dealt with an injury scare early as Mark Andrews left the contest on the team's first drive. He did not return and may be in for a lengthy absence. Lamar Jackson appeared to tweak his ankle a few drives later, but returned to play and was able to function else fair and level where receiver Odell Beckham Jr. also left the contest due to a shoulder injury. I've been saying as the Ravens improved to 8-3, the Bengals fall to 5-5. Why do we play Thursday night football? Maybe on Thanksgiving because that's just one day out of the year. But players don't have enough time to recuperate when they play on a Sunday, and then they got to come back and they got to play on a Thursday. It's not healthy. And I know I'm just one person, but that's not necessary to do that on Thursday night football. We talked about CTE, keeping players healthy. Now you have big-name players being injured, all because of Thursday night, and it just doesn't make any sense. It's not even necessary to keep doing it. You would think that at some point in time, the NFL would say, wait a minute, let's put a pause on that and give Paul some praise. We don't need football every Thursday. I know the league's trying to make money, but players are getting unnecessarily injured, and it's just not a good thing. So we get into, that's my soapbox. I'm going to say, are you ready for some football? Got a big week coming up for NFL football. My goodness, we're in the back nine in NFL Week 11. I got my thoughts on it. You got your thoughts on it. God, it's not proper English, Curry. I have my thoughts on it, and you have your thoughts on it. You know those guys that want to correct you on everything you say, and then their pants are down, their pants are unzipped. All fair and level war. I want to bring you to some games that I think matter. Just as a sidebar, Major League Baseball they're saying that the Oakland A's are going to move to Las Vegas now. I think they're slated to play there in 2028. But if they leave, they're going to lose about $60 million from a TV contract with Comcast. I mean, I don't know. They're probably going to leave because the A's never really sold out in the last decade or so. And you can't force people to come to games. But down in Las Vegas, it's more of a transient town. They think they'll get more people. So I feel bad for the East Bay. They lost the Warriors to San Francisco, where they started when they came to the Bay Area from Philadelphia. They also lost the Raiders, who went to Las Vegas. And now the A's are going to be packing up and moving out too. It hurts a lot of the business people who make their living around events around the Coliseum. But big money will always win out because that's what big money does, especially when Rob Manfred said he's going to waive the tax that would have to be paid if they left. All fan number one. I got to get to some NFL football. Are you ready for some football? Of course you are. I got a big game here. The Pittsburgh Steelers 6-3 at the Cleveland Browns 6-3. The 1 o'clock p.m. kickoff East Coast time on CBS Sports. Now Cleveland's favored by 1. The over/under is 32.5. There's no Deshaun Watson. But what to pay attention to, Myles Garrett is tied for first in the NFL with 11 sacks, while Pittsburgh's T.J. Watt is just behind him with 10.5. And Garrett and Watt have been as impact of any defensive player in the league this season. Watch those two good boys. When you got the offense on the field, watch the defense because those good boys get after it. I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, it's hard to go against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Deshaun Watson's out for the rest of the year. He has a shoulder injury. And I don't know how you go against the Steelers. Amari Cooper had 715 receiving yards this season. He's seeking to be the 5th different Browns receiver with at least 800 receiving yards. But there's something about the Steelers that I pay attention to. I'm going to look at quarterback Kenny Pickett. He's not going to beat the Browns defense on his own. But if he gets the ball out of his hands fast, they have a chance to keep the ball rolling, if that makes sense to you. Get the ball to Najee Harris. But a betting pick for you. Now, I told you Cleveland's favored by 1. The betting nugget 800 gambler. The Steelers are 6-1 against the spread. Did you hear me? The Steelers are 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 road games. They are 51, 24-1 in the Steelers road games in the past 10 seasons, including 3-0 this season. You got to look at that point spread. And the Browns are tough to run the ball against. And the point spread is one thing. But I'm going to go with Cleveland this time because they're at home and their defense is just nasty. I'm going to go with Cleveland Browns 24, Pittsburgh Steelers 21. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. All's fair and love and war. I got the Chicago Bears 3-7 at the Detroit Lions 7-2. That's a 1 o'clock p.m. kickoff East Coast time on Fox Sports. And the spread has Detroit by 7.5-point favorite. And the over-under is 47.5, and I think they'll get it. The storyline of this game, the Lions are returning home to host their divisional rivals with an opportunity to hit their best 10-game mark since 1962. The Bears quarterback Justin Fields will look to spoil the plans. He'll try to wreck the buffet at the Herald Club, the great Eddie Murphy. But he's the last 4 games he had a dislocated thumb, so he'll get back in the saddle. And I'm looking at this game. My prediction, when you look at the scrambling of quarterbacks, and obviously Fields going to have to scramble a lot in this game. I like seeing what does Vegas say about it. Obviously, Jared Goff and the Lions passing game, they're positioned for another big performance. I'm telling you, Goff is averaging about 21.4 fantasy points per game at home. But this is what I love. I don't gamble, but I go with 800 gambler. The betting nugget. The Lions are 5-0 against the spread against teams that are currently having losing seasons. They're favored by 7.5. I think they'll cover it. Detroit 35, the Bears 17. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it because the Lions can play good football. They've been playing good football lately. And now you have the Los Angeles Chargers 4-5 at the Green Bay Packers 3-6. It's a 1 o'clock p.m. kickoff East Coast time on Fox Sports. And the spread, the LA Chargers, they're favored by 3. The over-under is 43.5. Now, they're at Lambeau Field where it might be a little bit of inclement weather. Touchdown, Justin Herbert, 6 overall, and Jordan Love, 26 overall, were the 3rd and 4th quarterbacks taken in the first round of the 2020 draft. Now, Herbert has 58 starts under his belt since taking over in week 2 of his rookie season. And then Love is making just his 11th career start and 10th overall this season. When I tell you about this game, I gotta tell you my feelings on it. I look at the betting world. Linebacker Joey Bosa has 6.5 sacks in 8 games this season. He has 67 career sacks in his career. That's third most by a Charger since individual sacks were tracked in 1982. Now, think about this. For me, of course, the Chargers can win this game. But the Green Bay is playing at home and the weather might be on their side. I look at Las Vegas. What do they know? I told you the Chargers are favorite. The betting nugget, the Packers are 1-5 against the spread in their past 6 games. And under are 6-1 in the past 7 games. If that makes sense to you. I got the Chargers going back to the monster, to the frozen tundra, and the Chargers getting the win 27-21 over the good old boys from Green Bay. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Now I got a game that used to be, the sea of, I think of the sea of hands. You got the Las Vegas Raiders. They're 5-5 at the Miami Dolphins, 6-3. It's a 1:00 p.m. kickoff East Coast time on CBS Sports. Now Miami's favored by 13.5. That's an insult. The over-under is 46.5. 13.5? How is an NFL football team favored by 13.5? You know, the Raiders have won their last 2 games. But they've won their last 2 games down there in Las Vegas. In the heat and humidity that you get in the Dome. There's no heat and humidity in the Dome. There might be a little bit of heat and humidity in Miami and South Beach. The storyline of this game, the Raiders own the NFL's 4th worst run defense, allowing 135 yards per game on the ground. Isn't that something? You got to look at what Miami can do. They can put a lot of pressure on people. But Josh Jacobs will be the first player to rush for 2 touchdowns against Miami this season. The Dolphins ranked number 13 rushing defense, has not given up a rushing score since week 7. I think the Raiders will get the ball into the hands of Jacobs. They'll get a rushing touchdown in this game. But I like going to where Las Vegas does. I don't bet. I don't bet at all. But think of what Vegas is saying. Each of the past 8 meetings has gone over the total. But the Raiders' games are 8-2 to the under this season. Tied for the highest under percentage in the NFL with the Giants. You got to know the Dolphins are going to win, but will they cover? Well, they're picked to cover 2 touchdowns. I got the Miami Dolphins 35. I have the Las Vegas Raiders 20. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. I think they cover. I got the New York Football Giants. They're only 2-8 at the Washington Commanders are 4-6. It's a 1:00 p.m. kickoff East Coast time on Fox Sports. And Washington's favored by 9.5. The over-under is 37.5. The storyline to watch. The Commanders allowed 6 sacks in their 14-7 loss to the Giants in October, giving them the total of 40 allowed. They're on pace for 97 sacks allowed. That to me is just, it's like they've given up. I got to go to what Las Vegas says. Because I was just telling you, in this game, the 9.5 was a lot. But what do they say down in Las Vegas? I mean, I don't gamble. 800 Gambler, if you follow Vegas, but sometimes they know something. I gotta look at the betting nugget. The Giants are 2-7-1 against the spread this season, including 1-5 against the spread on the road. If that makes sense to you. The Giants are not playing good football. I have the Washington Commanders 24, the good old boys, the New York Giants 14. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. How about those Cowboys? I got the Dallas Cowboys 6-3 at the Carolina Panthers 1-8. It's a 1:00 p.m. kickoff on Fox Sports, East Coast time kickoff. Now Dallas is favored by 10.5 over a team that's won 1 game this year. The over-under is 42.5. The mismatch in this game is evident at every level. The Cowboys rank 4th in points allowed, just 18.3 per game, and 3rd in total defense, 275 yards per game. Now the Carolina Panthers, they rank 29th in scoring, 17th points per game, and 30th in total defense. Actually, total offense, that's only 32 teams, 275 yards per game. Now, it doesn't take even a blind squirrel can get lucky and find a nut every now and then. I think Cowboys running back Tony Pollard is going to rush for over 100 yards, get his chest in the win. And then when I look at what Las Vegas says, what does Las Vegas say? I don't bet on games, 800 gambler if you do. But I want to bring this to you because it's important to me. I told you Dallas is favored by 10.5. The road favorites of the least 7 points are 0-8-1 against the spread this season. That's saying the Cowboys won't cover. But I think Vegas is wrong. They're 4-5 outright. This is the second time a team has been a double-digit road favorite. In week 3, the Cowboys lost outright as 11-point favorites in Arizona. I got the Cowboys winning. I got them covering the spread. Dallas 28, Carolina 14. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. All spread 11 more. Tennessee Titans 3-6 at the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are 6-3. It's a 1 o'clock p.m. kickoff East Coast time on CBS Sports, and Jacksonville's favorite by 7. The over-under is 39.5. The storyline to watch, Jacksonville just got beat down by the 49ers in their own backyard. Now Tennessee comes to town. But watch the storyline. This game could come down to which offensive line holds up better and protects the quarterback. Tennessee, they have rookie Will Levis. He's been sacked 10 times in 3 games. That's not good. Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback, the great Trevor Lawrence, has been sacked 24 times, which is 3 shy of his 2022 total. That's not good. But what does Las Vegas say? Because the Vegas knows something about these good old boys. I want to take a touchdown. Derrick Henry has 4 consecutive 100-yard rushing games against the Jaguars. Make it 5. He knows how to find the holes in that defense. But for the good old boys in Las Vegas, what does Las Vegas think? The Jaguars are 4-1 against the spread this season as favorites with 3 state covers. I think they cover this game, but I think touchdown Derrick Henry gets his chest to the win. Jacksonville Jaguars 28, Tennessee Titans 20. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And now I got another game out here. The Carolina, think about this. The Arizona Cardinals, they are 2-8 at the Houston Texans, 5-4, 1 o'clock p.m. kickoff East Coast time on CBS Sports. And the spread is Houston's favored by 4.5. The over-under is 48.5. The storyline to watch, can Texas coach DeMeco Ryans, can he get that team rolling again the way they did against Cincinnati? He's familiar with the Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray when he was doing the defensive coordinator at San Francisco. Now, Ryan faced Murray only once in their 4 potential matchups due to the former number 1 pick being injured. But in the lone matchup, Murray led the Cardinals to a 17-10 win and had 239 yards passing with a touchdown and no turnovers. I think Murray will have success passing, given 250 yards. But the defense for Houston, they're playing well. C.J. Stroud, he's completed 64% of his passes of 20 or more in the air yards. I like what he's doing, C.J. Stroud. What does Las Vegas say, Big C? Las Vegas says the Cardinals are 0-4 against the spread in their past 4 road games. They're 0-5 straight up and 1-4 against the spread this season. In my opinion, the Cardinals, they don't match up with Texans. Just a thought. Might be close for the first half. I think the Texans pull away and win this 28-17. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I'm going to go to the Buccaneers at 4-6, at the San Francisco 49ers at 6-3. In Denver Hills, California, it's a 4:05 p.m. kickoff East Coast time on Fox Sports. And the spread is San Francisco's favored by 11.5 points. The over-under is 41.5. They could nearly get 41 on their own. San Francisco quarterback Brock Purdy, he made his first start against the Buccaneers last year. It was a 35-7 beatdown, Tom Brady's last game in San Francisco. And things have gotten better for the 49ers. I have a prediction that quarterback Mayfield will not reach 200 passing yards, and the defense will be all over him. At the same time, Curry, what does Las Vegas say? I want to tell you the 49ers are seeking their 7th 30-point game this season. It would be the most through 10 games since joining the NFL in 1950. And I think they'll get it. This is a very good football team in San Francisco. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. The betting nugget, what does Las Vegas say, Curry? The 49ers are 13-2 against the spread in their last 15 games. 13-2 against the spread in their last 15 games. As a home favorite, they are 10-2 against the spread at home since the start of last season. There's gold in Denver Hills. Deebo Samuel's back. Christian McCaffrey's running hard. Trent Williams on the offensive line. You have Bosa on his side of the ball. And I'm telling you, with Armstead at the middle, you're going to have those two do damage. At the same time, Chase Young is going to help also. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. I think the 49ers win this game, and I think they win it big. The weather might be a little bit inclement, but I have San Francisco winning this game 35-14. That's my story, and I'm taking with it. I got the Jets, New York Jets 4-5 at the Buffalo Bills that are 5-5. And the Bills have kind of come unglued, if that makes sense to you. It's a 4:25 p.m. kickoff East Coast time on CBS Sports. The spread is Buffalo -7. The over-under is 39.5. The Jets play hard. But think about what's going to happen here. I think Josh Allen, he's been just not himself lately. I think he gets right in this game. The Bills offense, they haven't been the team we thought they'd be this year. I got to look at what the Buffalo Bills can do at home to get things right against a conference foe. The Bills have 18 turnovers this season. That's tied for second most in the NFL. And Buffalo's failed to win the turnover battle in 6 straight games. It's longest such streak since 2012. I think they get that right this time. I think they fix that. You got to look at touchdown. Stephon Diggs got to get his chest in the win if you're going to have success. If you're Buffalo, I want to say, what does Las Vegas think, Big C? The Bills are 0-6 against the spread in their last 5 games. What? 0-6? Yes. 0-6 against the spread in their last 5 games. In their past 4 games as a favorite, and 0-4 against the spread in their past 3 home games. What does that mean? It means the Jets can hang around. And I think they will hang around. Buffalo can't keep turning the ball over. I think the Buffalo Bills will win this game, but I think it's going to be close. I got Buffalo 24, the Jets 21. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. All's fair and love and war. And now I got a game with the Seattle Seahawks 6-3 at the LA Rams 3-6. Who would have thought the Rams would be in 3-6? It's a 4:25 p.m. kickoff East Coast time on CBS Sports. Now, Seattle's a 1-point favorite at SoFi Stadium. The over-under is 46.5. The storyline, quarterback Matthew Stafford is expected to play after injuring his right thumb against the Cowboys in Week 8. The Rams' offense managed just 188 yards in their loss to the Packers. Without Stafford, and the team has now lost 3 in a row, he's going to face a Seahawks defense that is allowing 354 yards per game. That's 25th in the NFL. He'll have success throwing the football downfield. Cooper Kupp, get ready, if that makes sense to you. Bukanuka, get ready, if that makes sense to you. He has 827 receiving yards this season. He needs 43 to pass Cooper Kupp of 869 for the second most by a Rams rookie in franchise history. Okay, Big C, what does Las Vegas have to say about it? I always care about what they say. I don't bet. I don't gamble. But the Rams have covered 6 straight meetings, including playoffs. Think about that. Stafford's coming back. He can throw the ball downfield. And Seattle's tough, but they're more tough to beat at home than they are on the road. It's just my opinion. I think the Rams get a late field goal to win this game. I got the Rams 27 and the Seahawks 24. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I think Stafford tried to get the ball in the air a lot. Minnesota Vikings 6-4 at the Denver Broncos 4-5, 8:20 p.m. kickoff East Coast time on CBS, actually on NBC Sports. The spread is Denver's 2.5-point favorite. They got a life back in them again after they beat Buffalo on the road, and now they get to come home. They're taking on the Minnesota Vikings. They're 2.5-point favorite. The over-under is 42.5. The storyline is about who keeps the momentum. Joshua Dobbs has been a lifeguard for the Minnesota Vikings at quarterback since Kirk Cousins' season-ending injury, a torn right Achilles. But then, at the same time, I got to look at what the good old boys in Denver are doing. Denver quarterback Russell Wilson has had 5 games with 2 or more passing touchdowns and no interceptions. This season, he would join the great Peyton Manning as the only Bronco quarterback with 6 or more games with multiple passing touchdowns and no interceptions in a season. Manning did it in 3 straight seasons from 2012 to 2014. Well, Big C, what does Las Vegas say? What does Vegas say, Big C? Well, the 800 gambler, the Vikings are 4-0-1 against the spread on the road this season. 4-0-1 and 4-0 against the spread in the last 4 games. That's kind of scary if you're a Bronco fan, but it's not scary if you're me, because Dobbs is playing good football. But I think Russell Wilson found some life in him when they went to Buffalo and won. I'm going to go Broncos 24, Vikings 21. It's going to be a close game, but I got the Broncos winning at that Mile High Stadium. Now, I got the Philadelphia Eagles 8-1 at the Kansas City Chiefs 7-2. It's a rematch of last year's Super Bowl. It's a Monday Night Football kickoff, 8:15 p.m. East Coast time on ESPN and ABC. And Kansas City's favored by 2.5. The over-under is 45.5. It's not about the record. It's about, can you get it done on the road? Can the Eagles go into Arrowhead Stadium and win? The storyline to watch. It's the 9th time that teams that played one another in the Super Bowl meet again during the following regular season. And the defending Super Bowl champions are 6-2 in such games. But it's not wise to expect a high-scoring game like the last year's 38-35 Super Bowl win. The Chiefs are much improved defensively, and so are the Philadelphia Eagles. I got a thought about touchdown Jalen Hurts. He's going to score a pair of rushing touchdowns. He's been slowed by a left knee, little hitch in his giddy up, but he'll be okay to play. And then touchdown Patrick Mahomes. He's touchdown Patrick Mahomes, but he throws a lot of interceptions. Mahomes and Jalen Hurts rank both in the top 10 in the NFL in touchdown passes, with Mahomes throwing an NFL best 58 in that time, but Mahomes has averaged 4.4 air yards on the touchdown passes over that span. These good boys have been playing over the past 2 seasons, 2 of the best quarterbacks. What does Las Vegas say, Big C? What does Las Vegas say? Well, Las Vegas says, and an 800 gambler, I don't bet on games, but Andy Reid in Kansas City, they are 21-3 outright and 15-9 against the spread in his career, coming off a bye week. He's 8-2 outright and 5-5 against the spread off a bye week with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are at home. They're tough to beat at home. But if there's any team that can screw up winning a game at home, it would be Kansas City. I'm going to say until you beat them, and Detroit did, I still got to go with Kansas City in a close game. I got Kansas City 31, the Eagles 28. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And if you don't believe in that, then you come up with your own podcast and broadcast predictions. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. Great football on hand. Again, it's Thanksgiving weekend. People are traveling. Please be safe out there in Denver Hills. If you're going to drink, just don't drive. If you're going to drive, just don't drink. Have someone drive you. It's an easy thing to do. We want to see, we can say this time and time again. If you love someone, don't let them drink and drive. Don't let them do it. Just don't let them do it. And give that some praise. I want to get into some college football. Everybody has their thoughts about college football. This week, we have number 3, Michigan at Maryland. Michigan's favored by 19. Kickoff is set for 11 o'clock a.m. Central Time on Fox Sports. College football is all about matchups, and this weekend may be a terrible matchup for the Maryland Terrapins. I got Michigan winning that game. I got them covering the spread. I got Michigan 45. I have Maryland 10, if that makes sense to you, 45-10. I got number 21, Kansas State. Those good boys at number 25, Kansas. Kansas State's favored by 7.5 points. Kickoff at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time on Fox Sports 1. Kansas State, they've dominated this rivalry for 14 consecutive wins over the Jayhawks, with the last win for Kansas coming in 2008 in Lawrence, Kansas. The Wildcats have been balanced as a team. They rank number 2 in both scoring offense and defense this season. I think they're just a very good team. They got beat by Alabama last year in the Cotton Bowl, but they just keep rebounding. I like Kansas State in this game. I got them win over Kansas in the in-state rival game. Kansas State 35, Kansas 21. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. I got Florida at number 9, Missouri. Who would have thought that Florida would not be ranked, but Missouri is. Missouri's favored by 11.5. Kickoff at 6:30 p.m. Central Time on ESPN on Saturday. Missouri enters this game riding high off a dominant win over Tennessee, while Florida has continued to struggle after losing 3 consecutive games. Running back Cody Schrader is having an outstanding season for the Tigers, and the Gators have been struggling to stop the run all season long since Utah ran over them to start the season, if that makes sense to you. My prediction, I got Missouri winning this game 35-27 over the Florida Gators. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Number 14, Oklahoma at BYU. The Sooners versus the Cougars. Oklahoma's 24.5-point favorite. It's an 11 a.m. kickoff Central Time on ESPN. Now, BYU performed well in out-of-conference games, but it struggled against the Big 12, including losing 4 of the last 5 games. Oklahoma's offense has rolled this season as the Sooners lead the Big 12 in total offense and scoring offense. This game has Dylan Gabriel. He's loaded at the wide receiver core, can take advantage of a bad secondary that the Cougars have at BYU in front of LaVell Edwards Stadium. I think Oklahoma covers. I got Oklahoma winning 49-20, if that makes sense to you, at BYU. Number 20, North Carolina at Clemson. Who would have thought that Clemson would be unranked? Clemson 6-5. North Carolina, isn't that something? Clemson is a 6.5-point favorite. Why? Both teams entered this game on a 2-game win streak after losing back-to-back games to end in October. The Tar Heels have continued to put up points, but have allowed 40-plus points in the past 2 games against Power 5 teams. Clemson has found success on the ground behind running back Phil Maka, and that could be a matchup nightmare for the Tar Heels defense. I'm going to tell you that Clemson finds a way to knock off North Carolina. Records aside, Clemson 35, North Carolina 31. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I got another big game. Number 1, Georgia at number 18, Tennessee. Georgia's favored by 10. The kickoff was 2:30 p.m. Central Time on CBS Sports. Now, Georgia earned the number 1 spot in the updated college football playoff ranking after back-to-back wins against ranked opponents. The Volunteers entered this matchup desperately needing a win after being beaten up on the plains of Missouri last weekend. My story is Georgia, the 2-time defending national champion, they're trying to make it 3. I don't think they'll win the national championship, but I think they'll beat Tennessee. I got Georgia 38, Tennessee 14. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I mean, Georgia's good, but that run to get 3 in a row is tough. I know back in the day before the playoffs, Oklahoma, I think, won 56 in a row, 58 in a row. But they didn't have playoffs back then. But you still won every game. Coming out to the West Coast, number 22, Utah at number 17, Arizona, is a tough matchup for Arizona, in my opinion. Arizona is favored by 1. Kickoff is 1:30 p.m. Central Time on the Pac-12 network, which a lot of people have a hard time finding. Arizona enters the matchup with tons of momentum, riding a 4-game winning streak with 3 wins over ranked opponents. Utah has lost 2 of their last 3 games, including last week's 35-28 loss to Washington. The Wildcats not only have the home field advantage, but Arizona's found their offensive identity too over the past month. And then Utah's defense has carried the Utahs, allowing just 299 yards per game. My thoughts in this game, Arizona's a good team. Utah's good. But Arizona's found some magic down there in the desert. I get Arizona 24, Utah 21. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. A big game in the Pacific Northwest, number 5, the Washington Huskies. They are at number 11, Oregon State. Oregon State's favored by 2.5. Don't buy it. The kickoff 6:30 p.m. Central Time on ABC Sports. It could be the perfect stage for Washington quarterback Michael Penix Jr. to have his Heisman Trophy moment, and the Huskies are going to need every bit of it because at home, Oregon State's tough. They have a 2-headed monster at running back. Damian Martinez and Deshaun Fenwick will be a tough test for Washington's defense, allowing over 140 yards per game on the ground. Despite Washington's entering this game undefeated, ranked number 5 in the country, many people feel they're going to get upset. But he should be able to make enough plays against Oregon State secondary that is prone to allowing explosive plays. If you're going to play for a national championship, you got to beat Oregon State. It's not like you're going down into Georgia or Alabama or Texas. You got to beat Oregon State. I got Washington beating Oregon State 38-31. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, everybody has their own opinion about sports, and I love giving that some praise. As I always tell you, please, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber, you can call Lyft, you can walk it off, you can sleep it off. The life you save may be your own. Don't let someone you love drink and drive. Call Uber, call Lyft. It's so easy to do. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Give the designated driver some praise. For Northern California, what to know about the 69th Crossway Classic between Sacramento State and UC Davis. They've been doing it for many, many years, 69 years now. And no matter what you think, it's one of Northern California's big games. Outside of the big game with Cal and Stanford, Sacramento State obviously has been the most dominant team in this series over the last 4 years. And Davis won the majority of the games. This rivalry began back in 1954. But I'm telling you, Sacramento State's won the last several matchups. And the Hornets coming to this game with national championship implications last year got knocked off by Incarnate Word in a high-scoring game. Sacramento State is 7-3. They only have won one more game than Davis. They're ranked number 8 in the FCS. And I think they have the running game and the passing game. They spread the ball out. They play solid defense. It's a rival game, and they're going to go across the causeway to play at UC Davis. I think Sacramento State has the better offense and the better defense. For UC Davis, it's currently in 6th place in the Big Sky Conference. What a better way to potentially keep your season alive. They got to win this game in order to have a chance at the playoffs. But I don't think it's going to happen because Sacramento State has a better team. They're more physical. I think they have more speed. And they play to win the game. It's a big game in the FCS. Davis 6-4, Sacramento State 7-3. It should be a packed house at UC Davis. The weather should hold up. I hope for the best for the weather in Northern California because there's going to be a lot of rain. Hit and miss over the weekend is what they're saying over the Bay Area. Maybe most of it will happen at night. But that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. May the best team win. But it's that time of year when teams can put on their old Letterman jackets and have their bragging rights. And I wish nothing but the best. But I think Sacramento State wins that game 31-21. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I want to finish out today's story because right around the corner is Thanksgiving. I know a lot of people are getting ready. They're already traveling out of them there hills in California. And all over the country, people flying out of town on airplanes, planes, trains, and automobiles. But just a little bit of the NBA. I got so much respect for NBA basketball. Got the key MVP leader is Luka Doncic. He leaps Joel Embiid for number 2. Dallas Star is surging in the West. We have the stuff with Draymond Green. I think that was a farce, in my opinion. 5-game suspension. It is what it is. But Nikola Jokic remains the top following MVP spot getter right now. Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic, they're all there right around 1, 2, and 3. So setting the stage this week for the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic, who rebounded Wednesday from one of the worst performances of the season at New Orleans. And now a lot of people are paying attention to him. He racked up 21 first-half points in the NBA's best 620-point half of the season. So they're looking at him right now. They're looking at the Joker. Obviously, I think LeBron James, not the MVP of the league anymore, but he carries the Lakers. And then when he's out, they need Anthony Davis to step up. A lot of times people don't like that. I like De'Aaron Fox since he's come back to the Kings. They've been on a tear, the Sacramento Kings. You gotta love NBA basketball. I'll get more into that as we get to this great football weekend. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Everybody has some thoughts about what they're going to do in this beautiful, beautiful football season. I just want the best for everybody. I want everyone to stay healthy and stay happy. And no matter what happens in life, always protect your family members for this weekend. Because Thanksgiving weekend is a weekend for people to just be healthy and happy and be with family and loved ones, if that's at all possible. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You could call Uber, you could call Lyft, you could walk it off, you can sleep it off. But don't let someone you love get behind the wheel of a car when they've been drinking and driving. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He's known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee, rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Oliver said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. All these Big C burgers make me land on my feet. That's why I float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. And listening to the Big C Sports makes me want to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. And vote for reparations now. And reparations forever. It is what it is, and that's my story. I'm digging with it. As I always tell you now, we pay homage to America's 16th president of the United States of America, President Abraham Lincoln. And what did President Abraham Lincoln tell Congress and the President Joe Biden? He said, reparations now, reparations forever. That's it. Like your team just won the game. How do we honor President Abraham Lincoln? When he said through the Emancipation Proclamation, he said, reparations now, reparations forever. Let's say it like your team just won the championship of the universe. What did President Abraham Lincoln tell Congress and President Joe Biden? He said, reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you. I appreciate you. And I hope that you have a super fantastic day.